Powered by Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Welcome back, everybody. Leaf fans, Mitch Marner is on a 20-game point streak. Let me say that again. Mitch Marner is on a 20-game point streak.
Wait. Did I hear that correctly? Did you just say
Mitch Marner?
Freaking Marner is on a 20-game point streak. Hold on.
Hit the
go
button.
off
Hit the button.
Yeah, here we go.
You can't hear it, buddy.
Never mind. The bit was ruined. I had an air horn ready.
You had one job. But you know what the Leafs did not do? They did not pull a Fouad. They did not leaf it in the third.
Wow.
They played probably the most defensively solid game I have seen in half a decade. Does that sound about right?
A goalie. A goalie performance. I mean, that was... I don't know if it was... First of all, let's introduce our guest. We have the wonderful...
The
Nick
one and
Barden.
only. Nick Barden.
Welcome.
Hello.
Came over to Toronto.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody's favorite Marlies insider. Everybody's favorite Marlies everything. Nick Barden.
Listen, when a guy gets called up and you never heard of him, Nick Barden has, and he'll tell you all about it.
I've heard about everyone.
So yeah, I mean, this was a game of goalie. This was a game of Matt Murray. I mean, there's a lot of other things, but I don't remember the last time, Nick and Lauren, the last time that the Leafs had a goalie where they could just snatch the win from the jaws of defeat, like armed robbery, steal the game. Like, I don't remember the last time that they had someone who could do that. And evidently it's Matt Murray.
The Leafs goalied somebody.
Goalied somebody. That's what they did. That's what always happens to us. It's poetic.
He did it so easily too. Like, he looks so calm all the time. There's never a point where he looks stressed out.
Absolutely not.
He got bumped into like 3 or 4 times in the game and he was fine.
Yeah, can I stop? Can people stop running into Matt Murray? We're trying to have a positive space in this season and have positive shows. Stop trying to injure him. Stop it.
Hasn't he been hurt enough?
Come on, guys. Enough.
Well, come on, guys.
Before we go on, because there's a lot of spice
to talk about
in this game.
So much to talk about.
Think you know the way it's going to go? Make your bet with Sports Interaction. Whether it's World Cup, hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and play, or one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus, please play responsibly. So aside from our good friend Matt Murray, for some reason my mind was going to say Jack Campbell. I'm like, I am. But Matt Murray, aside from Matt Murray absolutely stealing the game, yes, we had Mitch Marner completing the 20-game point streak. And like the first few minutes, like it's not even like he's pressing to get it. It's just easy. It just like he's on another level right now.
And ending Jason Robertson's point streak very effectively tonight.
That was big.
Yeah. The lesser of the two Robertsons. Let's just call it that. No, I'm just kidding. He's amazing. But yeah, like that's what an interesting game, because it had all of the defensive breakdowns and drop passes that lead to almost calamities that a lot of Leaf games are used to. But the difference was the goaltending. Like, it was like back last season before, even Frederik Andersen, I don't think he gets you a shutout in that game.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, maybe he does. I don't know, but like the Leafs in this game, like they really, like, that's the end of the second period. That 5-on-3 was incredible.
Ridiculous.
That was probably one of the best Leafs penalty kills I've ever seen.
And underratedly in this, like I trying to gather up all the good things to say about people was Rasmus Sandin there. Like, he was fearless getting in front of pucks. Like, I hadn't seen that side of Rasmus Sandin. He always had that kind of, offensive defenseman, didn't give you much in way of grit or, getting in front of the nets and stuff, like getting in front of the net and breaking up passes. But Man, was he good there.
The last couple seasons, there's actually been, I couldn't tell you the game. I'm sure Steve could if you asked him. But there was a game, I want to say it was last season, where Sandin laid like a reverse hit and like flattened somebody. And he's not like an overly large guy, right? But somehow Rasmus Sandin and Rasmus Dahlin, who also had a huge hit the other night, these like seemingly small but very offensively minded defensemen are laying these like ridiculous hits. And tonight, I don't remember who it was against, but Rasmus Sandin just like shoves the player over and just like takes the puck and skates away. And he was unbelievable tonight. Him and Liljegren, like Liljegren started the second period leading the Leafs in ice time, which I didn't have on my bingo card for tonight, guys. I don't know about you, but like, wow, the pair of them had such a good game tonight. Like, extra hand up for those guys. My goodness.
And you always hear the cliche. You always think it's a cliche when they say next man up. Oh, this injury, it's a chance to see what we have. They'll try to have that copium saying that. But in this case, I think it has. Like they've been these two guys who've been, young guys that you know plenty about, who've been developing a long time in the Marlies. And people are like, when are these guys going to do something? When are they going to pop? And, now suddenly they're thrust into the spotlight. Here, you're the toughest assignment right now. And
they did it.
They're doing it.
Yeah, it's interesting because it looked like when Sandin was out and he missed training camp for a little bit,
yeah,
it sort of felt like Timothy Liljegren was sort of getting the edge in terms of like being good, being defensively relied upon. And this game sort of, to me, shifted that. And it really, Timothy Liljegren has been good throughout the whole season. To me, he's been consistent. He's played really good and he's been really reliable. But for Rasmus Sandin tonight, it sort of showed that he can go to another level. And when he can get to that next level, there's a lot there. And he was obviously supposed to be like the Leafs' next big defenseman. And he showed it tonight. He showed everything that you'd want in a guy who's going to be the next up after Morgan Riley really gets less of an opportunity as he gets older. So that was really incredible to see just how good he performed under a big moment too, when they're down to three guys. It was a really special thing to see him progress that much and have that opportunity and really show it in the opportunity that he had.
Yeah, and he just completely rose to the occasion, right? There was an opportunity tonight. You tweeted out that Mete left, and who's up next down the pipeline if he is in fact like out and somebody doesn't come back. And please go into that list so that just for a second, Leafs fans, we're going to talk about the win and everything more, but if Mete doesn't come back, like who's next?
Do you really want to know that list?
We'll probably be hearing the names for the first time. No, I'm just kidding.
If TJ Brody's
close,
likely
apparently.
to come, he's close, so he'll probably be back. And worst case scenario, whoever they call up isn't going to get into an NHL game. They'll probably just sit in the press box. But the only three guys in Toronto are William Villeneuve. He just won the Memorial Cup last year. He's played 14 games in the AHL, 14 pro games. So there's him. Mikko Kokkonen. He has around, I think, 19 games in the AHL. And I think 11 of those came in the 2020 season, or 2021, sorry, when there was the taxi squad. So the AHL wasn't really the AHL.
Yeah.
And then Axel Rendell has played not even 10 games in the AHL in pro hockey in North America. So those are the three guys.
So how are your 10 games? Well, now you're going to the show. It's like,
no pressure, kid. No pressure.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me like William Villeneuve. He's very
young,
new.
Isn't he? He's pretty young. Like he was picked in 2020, right?
My memory's very bad, but
yeah, it was a COVID time. I think it was. Nobody remembers anything.
Yeah, I think it was 2020, but there with him, I talked to Marlies head coach Greg Moore today, and he's he said something along the lines of like, he's showing a little bit right now of what he's fully capable of. But when he gets stronger, when he gets more confident, there's just going to be a sudden pop, and he's just going to show that he's going to be a good defender. Like I believe the Leafs are really high on him. Mikko Kokkonen as well. He's if there was a defender that would get called up, I'd say it'd be Kokkonen because he is a left shot. And if Brody's not,
imagine that us needing a left shot, not a right shot, right?
Yeah, like Brody, like if Brody's not back, like you could see maybe a third pairing of, like, you wouldn't want to see two righties in Hollowell and Timmins. I'd rather test that out than bring Kokkonen up. But yeah, those are the three guys who could get a call up. I doubt it happens. I mean,
let's hope it doesn't get there.
Yeah, we didn't think that.
I heard someone saying, people were saying that Brody might be back on Thursday, which would be great. It would help this team really stabilize. Obviously they played well without any defensemen, but you can't count on that to go on. Like it can be a cute story to where it's like everybody rose to the occasion, but it just doesn't work like that at the playoffs, So I got to say also, like, lost in all the craziness of the way the game went and some of the other performances. We say this every game. Austin Matthews is back like he never left. All right. He's back. I don't know if you guys ever watched The Wire. In the show The Wire, there was this character named Omar, and he was the most feared guy in the town. He wouldn't come often, but when he did, he'd be like, he'd whistle and everybody would scatter. And like when Matthews had the puck, I was like, he had it for a few seconds and then they're like, what do we do? What do we do? And then he just.
Yeah, they just gave him an open lane. They were like, Austin, we have a gift for you. We know you're from the Southwest, so we're going to give you a goal. They just give it to him on a silver platter. Like, we heard you on an open lane. Like,
it was crazy.
It was great.
But yeah, he's like, and now they're saying he's on pace for like, because I know they were saying the pace like it was kind of like a not a gimmick, but it was like, his pace is only 32 goals. But like, I'm not a math genius, but every time he scores another goal, the pace like adds another 5 goals. So I think he's on pace for his second highest total in his career. So like he's back. Guys, he's back. That's all I gotta say.
He was great. Dallas. Yes, he does love Dallas, and thank goodness he doesn't, like green and black, and he likes blue and white instead. It's so great to have him on our team, and not only is it good to have him, but we need to talk about the star of the game, other than Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner. Yes, the hybrid of them both. He plays goalie and forward. No. Mitch Marner on his 20 on his shirts, right? Mitch Marner on his 20-game point streak. What a game for him. They brought up in the intermission that some people are saying that he should be nominated for the Selke, and with the way he's playing, it's hard to have an argument against that, really. He's playing so well as a forward. He's playing so well defensively. It's jarring sometimes to realize how much he's on the ice and how impactful he is. He's so good, and he's playing so well lately, and I'm so glad that he's getting some of the celebration that other players on the Leafs have gotten recently, right? Like, there's been lots about Tavares coming and Matthews and how great he's been. And Marner has always been, like, really good. And just because he doesn't play the same way as Matthews, he doesn't always get recognized. So for him to, all of a sudden have a record that's his own, I think it must feel so good for him, even though he's trying to play it down, right? Oh, God, just worrying about the games. And I'm sure he is, but he must feel so good. And I hope it keeps going. I hope that he breaks. Who has the record? They posted it. It was like
the record of all time?
No. They of the last like 25 years. It was like Patrick Kane. And
the non-Gretzky one? Is that just like Gretzky doesn't count?
Yeah.
It's like, no, we don't mean that one.
Who's that?
It's just we don't mean that guy, but yeah.
Yeah. Marner, he's been like he might be like right now the best guy on that team. I
was gonna ask
like
that actually.
I really do like Matthews, but Marner he's hitting another level. Like you don't see like I honestly I didn't think that there was only a small amount of players that hit 20 game point streaks. Like that part when I seen that was pretty crazy to me. Just that he's in that sort of company. Like you don't really like it's so it to me it's fascinating that he's doing it the way he is, the way that he's
everywhere. He's like rain on that ice. Like he covers it like rain, basically. He's just everywhere.
And he's doing it as well, like just defensively too. He's doing everything right. There's nothing that he's doing wrong. And it's refreshing to see that after the disappointing things that have happened in the last 2 playoffs for him. Like it seems like now it's been said every year, but like he's hitting another level, and he hits that other level, and you just
there's a leap. There's a definite leap there.
Yeah. So you just think like, can it leak into the playoffs? And if it does leak into the playoffs, that's a good guy you got there alongside Austin Matthews.
If it leaks into the playoffs, you're winning the series. But
exactly.
Like that's been the difference. Like let's be honest. Like you can blame, tertiary players here and there, about like little mistakes like Kerfoot last playoffs. Anyway, but you could blame those plays. But if your stars don't take you over the finish line, that's ultimately what it comes down to, right? And it's funny that you talk about point streaks. That let's not forget Jason Robertson's point streak did end tonight. It was at an amazing 18 games, right? It was at 18 games. And
yeah, I think so.
The fact that he had those 2 guys going head to head in a game, it kind of just shows like all of a sudden the league is so young and talented at the same time. Like you have guys like I looked at the top points leaders and it's all guys like in the range of 24 to 26. Like I saw a couple 27s there, but like the league is in fantastic shape talent wise.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like as much as you say that, it just makes me feel old. Like I'm born the same year as Austin Matthews. So
I'm born
like
the same year as like Morgan Riley. So now I'm starting to feel old. But like saying like Morgan Riley's declining. The people were saying that. I'm like, what do you mean they're declining? I'm young. But yeah.
it's like I remember him getting drafted and I was like, what am I doing with my life? And then it's just like what people are like, oh, he's been in the league for like 6 or 7 years. And I'm like, there's no way he's been in the league for that long. And then you look at it and he's like, oh my God.
Oh, yes, he has.
So like when you say like these guys are all young, it's like at the same time, some of them aren't. And it's
prime time. Let's just say it
is prime time.
This is where they're hitting their apex, what should be the apex.
And this is going to be the time where we got to appreciate the players that the Leafs have, because before you know it, like they're going to be gone. And then who's next? It seems like they've gone all in right now. And obviously like if
at this point, deservedly so, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they're going to be there. Matthews, Marner, they're going to be there for a long time. But yeah, though the league it is getting younger. A lot of guys are like, I don't know how old Jason Robertson is, but he'd be
like 24, I think I saw. It might be, He was a 17 pick, right? 2017, I think.
So even like that's really good. It's exciting to see too, that the league does get younger, and that the age range where guys can play, like they could come into the league at like 19, hit their stride at 21, 22, and just have like 6 or 7 years, maybe longer, where they're good. That's really exciting to see.
And it's right there. We're here. We don't have a Matthews in the wings. We have a Matthew Nyes in the wings, but he's not Austin Matthews. He's not Mitch Marner, right? He's not that same level of player that we have right now, that we haven't had in a generation, right? Like my dad has never seen a player like Austin Matthews on the Leafs.
No,
like
I guess you're right. Yeah,
not since I was born, basically, right? And that was a long time ago. And
you talk to like Red Wings fans or Montreal fans, and you're like, I saw a player like that 5 years ago. It's just maybe the older Red Wings fans, but yeah.
And it you're right, Nick. Like it's so special to see this, and it couldn't be coming at a better time, and we need to take advantage of it now because we don't know when it's going to end, right? Like we talk about all of these things, and everybody always makes fun of Leaf fans that we're always in like the Captain Dread camp, and that we have all of these views that everybody's going to leave, but it's because we haven't had players like this. So yeah, of course we don't want to lose it. Like who wouldn't be worried about losing somebody like that? And so I think for us to just take advantage of it and live in the moment now is like how we get through as Leaf fans nowadays after hard playoff losses, and seeing this in November and seeing them have the capability to play this defensively strong against Dallas to beat them 4-0. Like that's not nothing. It's not nothing. Matt Murray can goalie people, guys. Rest of the league, watch out. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody can goalie people. Is this what it feels like to be the goalie in the goalieing, or part of the? Is this what it feels like? I'm like, I don't know how to feel right now.
like it. I like it. It was stressful.
It's weird.
It was stressful, but it was very good, and it was very good to see.
To your point about like being sad about players leaving, like when was the last time that we had a player worth being that anxious about? Like I remember when I was a kid, like when I was maybe like 2007 or so, like Sundin was still considering leaving, and people were like, yeah, he's but he's old, right? Like if Matthews left, like there would be like 5 days of mourning in Toronto. Like you'd have to close everything. There'd be a 5-day holiday.
Somebody would burn down a TTC bus. 100%. Somebody would like burn down a TTC bus.
You're thinking 100%. It's going to go purge. Anyway, it's not going to happen. But anyway, let's not catastrophize. See, we're already catastrophizing about it.
No, we need to live in the happy. Like, listen, guys, there was lots to be happy about this game. Even the second half of the power plays that the Leafs did get, the ones that they didn't take. Like, we played, a third of the game in special teams tonight?
It was a lot.
It was a lot. Including a double minor that David Kampf looked great in, I'm just going to say.
Yeah, so Lauren's favorite players is David Kampf. And more and more, I kind of see why. Well, I don't know about her favorite player, but it's kind of like
he's up there.
It's a running gag.
But, I think he's very underrated.
It's not a gag anymore. He's fantastic.
He is, and everybody's starting to wake up. Finally, I think David Kampf is the Leafs' Philip Deneau. That's what I think.
He's a defensive powerhouse. He's gonna get paid a lot of money.
Oh, don't say that. La 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 la.
No, he is.
We don't want to hear that.
He totally is.
I
mean, he's
going
to take a discount because he loves the game and he wants to stay.
He likes the Leafs for sure.
With the cap going up, he could stay.
He could stay. He's stay.
It's true.
Camp stay. He's gonna camp out in Toronto for a long time.
Hey.
I can just feel it, guys.
If I could figure out how to make those air horns work, I would give you air horns right now. I'd just go meow, 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 meow.
Yeah, it turns out your vocal air horns are way better than the ones you have on your phone. Go figure.
I don't know why I did that.
I don't know.
I think it connected to my Bluetooth or something. Like I felt really stupid to start the show. But what's not stupid? You know what's not stupid? Sharing the show, liking everything, telling all of your friends, tweet it out, tell them about the show. They don't have to jump in live. They can rewind it. You can watch it from the beginning because you don't want to miss all the great things we said.
You know that you know somebody that's up right now that isn't watching this. So tell them and be like, hey, come hang out. Let's talk about hockey. You watch the game too.
Tell everyone Nick Barden is here.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Who wouldn't want to hang out with Nick?
Like, this is a glorious occasion, all right?
I have all the news you need to know.
It's true.
Listen,
and
he's gonna tell you about the future, okay? Who doesn't want to know about the future?
I know something about the future, but I'm not going to say it on this podcast.
Well, that's okay.
Stay tuned tomorrow.
Ooh. Okay.
We're on the Toronto Marlies.
I'm excited.
The Toronto Marlies are moving to Sault Ste. Marie.
Why would you? There's already enough Sault Ste. Marie love in the Leafs, okay? I don't think we need to up that ante. But since we're talking about how great Matt Murray was and how much of a difference maker he was, Leafs legend Joseph Woll has come back from injury. Nick Barden. and
He
he
has.
is polishing out himself a nice little start to his season.
Can we finally have a homegrown goalie? I mean, James Reimer was, but like, can we finally have a homegrown goalie? Like,
I mean, there's a few guys. Like you look at, like
tell me
Woll
good
is
news.
close. He's not. He played last season. He was really good. He would be probably the closest with Eric Shalgren. Petrozelli, he's also an interesting one. I'm really interested to see what the Marlies do with him since they have 3 goalies. And then they have Dryden McKay and Luke Cavalin with the Newfoundland Growlers. And those 2 guys are Cavalin has had a really good season. Dryden McKay as well. His story is just so fascinating. Hobie Baker winner. I believe in college, he had more shutouts than he had losses. But I'm not sure how he's done that. But yeah, those 2 guys are really good. Joseph Woll, there has to be, he should be, maybe say there's an injury in a few months with either Samsonov or Murray.
Let's not say that, but yeah, go on.
Let's not say that. But if there is, I think it's worth giving him another chance. Like Shalgren's got a lot of the time because of Woll's injuries.
No, but you got to see what you have. Like, you have to see what you have.
Exactly.
I agree with that. You know, like, I don't think you think Shalgren is going to be a potential long-term answer. Like, I don't think so. He's a good stopgap, good trooper. But honestly, I would like, Woll has to become a great goalie. Like, his name is Woll. He's got to be good. It's literally like in Seinfeld where the library cop was named Bookman. Like, it has to happen.
Destiny.
It's written in the stars, a million miles away. All right.
He's got it. I
think so.
I think he does. It's just
don't tease me now.
But it's so hard to do goalies. It's so hard to figure out goalies. Like there's some
you don't even know
goalies-
when they're good in the pros, because all of a sudden they won't be, right? Like you're seeing with Cal Peterson.
Like they could even in the AHL, like they could play horribly, and somehow they get to the NHL and it just clicks for them. Like maybe they're better with more speed. Maybe they're better with less speed in the AHL, and then they can't handle the speed of the NHL, or just all of those things. Joseph Woll in particular is very athletic, and like he has a lot of athleticism the way he moves. He's really good at making saves that you didn't think were possible. That's one of the things that I've learned about him in the last 1 or 2 years. Yeah, he makes a few highlight reel saves. He's a great dude as well. Like he's always happy wherever he is. And yeah, I mean, he's got a lot. He's got enough. Like he had a 911 save percentage when he played with the Leafs last year, and I think 4 games. So there's something there. It's just he's got to get his rhythm back after being injured for 6 months, I think it was. So once he gets a little bit of runway, I think if there is an injury, knock on wood, but if there is one, I could see him being the next guy up and letting Shalgren sort of find, I don't know if you'd say finding his confidence again would be the right word, but just getting a steady pace, steady rhythm in a league where, where in a league where he can hold himself above water. And I'm not saying he couldn't hold himself above water in the NHL, because he was, I'd say he was pretty good for what they needed, but they're obviously the Leafs saw that there could be another level from him, because they signed him. So it'll be interesting to see, because his AHL numbers haven't always been the best, if he can really have a consistent season or however long it might be with the Marlies.
Well, for sure. And I looked up his stats earlier. Of course, now I can't find where I wrote it. But he's what, 3-0 since he's been back in like a 934 or something. Like if he can come back. I see what you mean. Like when he did play last year, and I think he also, I don't think he played in the bubble, but I know he was in the bubble with the Leafs a couple years ago. And he has the ability to make really good saves. And anybody that watches hockey for, a period of time and follows a team knows that goalies take like 4 years longer usually than any other player to get even close to being ready to be a starter or even a really solid backup, right? There are some exceptions, not everybody is Dan Vladar, but it does happen. But it does.
Or Matt Murray. Or Matt Murray. He came in 21, 22 years old, right? When he won the Stanley Cups, when he won those back-to-back cups as a rookie.
Yeah.
And like speaking of Matt Murray, and there's actually some people like on the chat saying like it's a bit of a debate. Like, so he's last few games he's been on a use an overused word here, heater the past few games. And obviously now you're gonna have that debate. Like, do you ride the hot hand, so to speak, or do you risk pushing him too much? Because I've been saying like Matt Murray has got to get the Raptors Kawhi treatment. They got to put him in dry ice and be like, no, like once, twice a week, maybe, and just ride him to the playoffs. Like, what do you guys think? Is it about a short-term kind of view, or are you talking about April down the line?
You want to go ahead first, Lauren?
It's so hard because I feel like anytime any of our goalies play and anybody gets close to breathing on them, I do one of these, oh no, because, they've already both been injured this season and they both have history of injuries. And I don't think it would be a bad thing to give them both opportunity to take some time off. But how do you not play Murray again after how he played tonight? Like, I guess depending on how he's feeling, of course.
Yeah.
But if he's up for it, like, there were so many saves tonight where Jack Campbell doesn't make that save. Oilers fans know.
Like, he absolutely, like, when... Okay, so the first amazing save that I wrote down with the Sagan save, which was, it was, like, point blank period in the slot. Like, an NHL 21 goal, NHL 21, that's the one I have. NHL 23 goal, okay? That's like, I'm dating myself. So, like, he had that save just telegraphed, and then you had that mad scramble in the second.
Yeah.
It came back. I don't know who the player was on the wing, and it came back to him. And
I think it was
Matt
Ben.
Murray is halfway on his ass. And I'm like, it's a goal. It's okay. It's fine. And I'm like I was like, my eyeballs went like that.
He was like save. Stretch Armstrong in the goal. I couldn't believe that he stretched that way. I didn't know people stretch that way.
Who's Stretch Armstrong?
Oh, see, now my age is showing. It was a toy in the early 90s where you could just stretch him forever. And it was actually a wrestler. Huh, go figure. But he just like bent his whole body, and it was like, I shouted. My wife got upset with me because I shouted, what a save. Because it was very late, because the game started way later than I thought it did yesterday. I didn't realize what time the game started today, guys. It's a good thing I checked. Time. Yeah, I'm usually up this late anyway, but not talking to all of you fine folk.
Oh, hey, the chat is up. The real people in the chat, not the bots. We've been fighting a bot problem. It's almost like we have ants or something. That's how I kind of feel. It's like, that's how we talk about it. Like, when you have ants in the house and you're like,
you just can't get
someone's
rid of them.
like, look at the ants. Did you see the ants right there? So that's how we are with the bots. Like, that's how we are.
Isn't Robert there to get the bots? What is he doing?
Oh my God.
He's there, but
he's got to be getting rid of the bots.
He's a bot. He's the bot killer.
I stamp them out as I'm talking.
He's like the assassin of all of the bots. Jay Money says time to re-sign Harry Sateri to beef up the goalie depth.
Jeez,
that's rude. That's rude.
It's tough times, eh?
It's rude.
Those were rough times with the goaltending. We're like, people were mad about that. Like I'm like, I didn't get it. I'm like, didn't he just play? He played in Finland, but like the Finnish league is not the NHL. So
it was just like, dirty of the Coyotes to take them.
And I'm like, sorry, who is he? That's so
cool. You guys remember Viney Vevalainen?
Oh my God. I forgot about that name until you just said it.
Trying to remember now. It does ring a bell. It rings a bell.
Yeah, he's a name. He's a guy.
You just dusted off some old file folder I had in some cabinet back there. I didn't even know it was back there. Oh my gosh. It's like
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, please.
So yeah, I wanted to say, like, before we wrap it up, we do want to talk about what you do, Nick Barden. You are a beat writer for the Toronto Marlies, for the Leafs Nation Network, correct?
That is correct.
And like, tell us about that gig. Like, what do you do on a day to day? Like, what's a kind of a day in the life at Marlies practice /games?
It's sort of similar to Leafs practices in a way. There's not really as many people at a Marlies practice. I'm usually like the only reporter there, which is nice.
It's a good thing. I'd say it's a good thing. Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's the day to day looks pretty like there's not really a lot to report on a day to day with the Marlies because they are a team that is in the AHL, and as much as there is a lot to talk about in the AHL, the NHL is really the big beefy thing that a lot of people want to hear about.
It's also so transient too, right? You're like, there's guys just probably just shuffling in and out every game.
Yeah, there's
right?
a lot of players. Sometimes it gets overwhelming because like I'll be sitting at practice, and with the Leafs, it's good because they have numbers on the back of their jerseys. The Marlies don't have any numbers on the back of their jerseys. The only numbers they have are on the back of their helmets.
Oh my God. Even the elementary school pennies had numbers. Come on, man. Come on, Marlies. Remember the pennies you'd get when you're playing in gym class? I think some of them would have like numbers, right? Man.
Yeah. So it's always fun trying to figure out who players are if I've never seen them. And even there's some
I just
guys
picture you sitting in the bleachers with a tiny pair of binoculars and like a pen being like, what the fuck is that?
I like I said to you guys before, like I have glasses. I don't wear them. So like there's times where I'm just like, who the hell is this person on the ice? But yeah, no, it's really nice when guys get called up because I know a lot more about them. It's also sort of nice for me because I'm around them so much that I like you interact with them. You get to see just the type of people they are, and to see them get to the next level and achieve their dream is something that's really cool to me. So yeah, that's really it. The day to day, again, if there's a practice, I'm at the practice. A lot of the stuff, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but it's like the lines and stuff, they change so much that it's just it's not hard to track, but like
feels redundant at to some degree.
Not that, but like just like say like today there was a practice, like I could like follow the lines, which I do, but I don't tweet them because things change so much. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of change, a lot of turnover. But yeah, no, it's always interesting, especially with a lot of the people like Semyon Dargachintsev. He's a very interesting dude.
I was going to ask
and
about
had
him.
his first game tonight.
Yeah, I was going to ask to talk about, what like, under the radar Marley prospects that, fans, more casual fans of the Leafs, wouldn't recognize, but like, who can you sort of give some hype to?
I'm really interested again in William Villeneuve just to see like how he progresses. He's one of them since he's a Leafs draft pick that I really am excited to see. Max Ellis is an interesting one. He's starting to figure the AHL out early on. He's signed with the Leafs. So that would be the Leafs guy. And then if I had to choose one there's actually a few on AHL contracts. Noel Hoffenmeyer, he's
who we just drafted this year, right? This past season we drafted.
No, he's
not Hoffenmeyer. I was thinking Fraser Minton. I don't know why.
Yeah. Hoffenmeyer, I believe, I don't know who he was drafted by. It might have been Dallas, but he's a defenseman, very offensively gifted. He has an incredible slap shot.
Ooh, we don't have anybody that has that. That's not injured right now anyway.
So he's one of the guys. He's almost at a point per game, 20 games in. So he's one that I could really see push to get an NHL deal with the Leafs. Obviously, if they clear contract spaces. Marshall Rafai, another one that I'm really high on. Graham Slaggert, not a lot of people know about him. He's another sneaky guy that I think in maybe a year could find himself in an NHL deal, but he's still either way a solid AHL guy. But yeah, the defense is more of a thing where I'd say there could be guys that come on NHL deals like Hoffenmeyer, like Marshall Rafai, since they already have like the Alex Steves, Semyon Argachintsev, Joey Anderson's there, Nick Aberzizi. I could see them going for a defenseman to sign, but I could also see them get a guy like Graham Slaggert under a contract, but that one might be a little bit longer down the road. But yeah, those are the few players that
are in the pipeline.
I'm pretty high on.
Well, and how do you, before we sign off, how do you think SDA played tonight? He didn't get a whole lot of opportunity because we played so much shorthanded.
Yeah, I tried to look for him I'm like 85, right? 85. I just remember the number and I'm like, hey, where is he? Where'd he go?
There was so much special teams. I think he finished with like
special game.
Like 6 or 7 minutes. It was not
6 or 7 minutes. I really, when Matthews scored his goal, like SDA was right there. I really wanted, like on the first chance, I really wanted him to pass to SDA. I was screaming at my computer screen, telling him to pass. He never did, because that would have been a sure goal for SDA. But yeah, hopefully, I'm not sure if he'll get into another game with them being back in Toronto. I would like to see him get into another one and get some time and figure himself out, because it was interesting when he did talk to the media yesterday. He talked a lot about him finding confidence in the AHL. And when he found his confidence, he was the same player that he was in the OHL. So I wonder if he finds that confidence in the NHL, if he can sort of, obviously he probably won't be that same guy, because I kind of consider him like a mini Marner in a sense. Like he can create plays like Marner can, maybe not to the same extent, but it's there in the AHL. So maybe when he finds his confidence at the NHL, maybe there's something there. Hopefully he gets into another game.
Well, and we can only hope that we see more, and we're going to see more of all these prospects, right? And it's been really great having you on tonight, and I'm glad that we had a prospect on the team. Not that there was much to talk about with him, unfortunately, because he didn't play because the Leafs decided to take like 6 or 7 penalties. But the Leafs won, everybody.
Oof.
Alex Kerfoot bumped his goal scoring slump. Mitch Marner, 20-game point streak.
Come on, let's go.
Matt
2
Murray
goals, baby.
with the shutout against Dallas. What a game. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. We appreciate you being in the stream.
Nick Barden, where can the people find you?
At Nick Barden on Twitter, at theleafsnation.com, Nick Barden on YouTube. That's where if there's any Marlies stuff happening, I usually try and get it on the Leafs Nation and on my YouTube channel. So that's everywhere. If you have questions, Nick is your guy. And Nick, we really appreciate having you on. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us so late on this Tuesday night. Everybody, thank you. Wednesday morning. Right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out again. My name is Lauren. You can find me on Twitter at Lauren6. My name is Fouad Suleiman. You can find me at Fouad_sports. Like the channel, subscribe, and we'll see you next time, Toronto. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.
Game over! Powered by Sports.